that's where we're at. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we were supposed to start the discussion of the SBA from last week. We were supposed to give you the layout. I think I sent it in the group. I'm assuming that you guys would have seen it. So you guys would have seen the outline for the SBA that is in the group. So I'm going to kind of briefly run through the mark scheme for the SBA, what you're being marked for. I'm going to show you the document that came off the CSEC website. Right, I'm going to show you. And I can't waste no time. I can't give you another week to choose your topic, because I'm assuming that everybody here would have at some point chosen a topic or have some topic in mind. So we'll have to jump into the introduction and give you just a basic idea of what an introduction is supposed to be like. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to pull up the screen now, and all right, so where am I? All right, so on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, on the screen is, usually we're not showing this. Usually I don't show students this, right? But this is the mark sheet for the SBA. This will give you guys a bit more understanding in terms of what are we marking you for. We're not going to go in depth. We're just going to touch base on it. You can see that the project title is at number 1, followed by the introduction, then followed by the method of data collection. Then you have the presentation of data. Then you have presentation of data, analysis of data, discussion of findings, conclusion, and you have your overall presentation with the mark scheme at the side. All right, so this is just basically what it's like. So I basically summarized this and sent it in a text in the group. Now, the project title, as you can see at the top, it says, this is a clear and concise, and it must relate to a real world problem, which means that the topics that I sent in the group are topics that, most of them, I got them off the internet. And the ones that are written in text, I'm the one that came up with those ones, and the one that was sent in the picture came off the internet. So I know that the screen is gone, I'm sorry. All right, so assuming that you guys would have picked a topic, it is now time for us to really get into what is the introduction and how you would actually construct an introduction. There's just a few things that needs to be in the introduction, which means that your objectives must be clearly stated and it must relate to the title that you've chosen. And you must have a comprehensive description of the project. If you have a comprehensive description of the project, you will get 2 marks. If it has in all of what I've instructed you to have in there. If you don't have in all of what I need to have in there, then you're only going to get 1 mark. And then, of course, you have to have your content page. That is what comprises of the introduction. All right, so let me get onto a sheet. A blank sheet. Okay, let me just scroll across. So here's an example. I don't really like this example. It's just the one that came from the CSEC website. This is just when CSEC just started issuing out SBA. So please don't really pay too much attention to it, right? I'm just using it as a guide. So this particular SBA, the project title is, the student wants to design a basketball hoop. And the question is, why should they use a circle? If you look at the introduction, and that's the introduction alone that I'm focusing on, it says the purpose of this project was to determine the most suitable shape for a basketball hoop. The number of goals scored using a traditional hoop was compared to the number of goals scored into a square hoop, a rectangular hoop, and a hexagonal hoop. This is the topic that you guys could actually do. So if anybody is here and is interested in really taking on a topic like this, that's what you should do. All right. You notice how the introduction is very short. I don't think that's what they really want, because that is not a comprehensive description of the project. I mean, I don't know about basketball. I don't know how much players is on the team. I don't know how big the court is. I don't know nothing about the sport. So I don't feel like that is a very comprehensive description. But personally, whenever I am teaching students, right? Whenever I'm teaching students to do the SBA, the first thing that I always tell them to do is, okay, let us start off with the introduction here. So what exactly is the introduction? The best way I can explain this in my own way, because I really don't know how to teach somebody how to do a research. But if I am doing a research and I'm asked to write an introduction, let's look at an introduction from the perspective of you introducing yourself. When I came to class the first time you guys met me, right? My first introduction statement was, my name is Akin Peart. I'm 31 years of age. I attend NCU, or I attended NCU. I have a bachelor's degree in mathematics. And and I'll be your math teacher for the year 2024-2025, which means me and you all and I are going to travel all the way till next year to the exam. That is a very brief description of who I am as a person. So when we ask you for an introduction, and for some reason everybody seems to compare other SBs with math SB. Math SB is not a social studies SB. So you're not going to write in the introduction, I thank God for the strength that He has given me. I thank God for my mother and my father who had helped me with it. That's not the introduction, ladies and gentlemen. And we don't need an acknowledgement either. An introduction is just going to get straight to the point. What is the SBA about? What is your topic about? Now, I'm just going to pick some random topics off the top of my head, and just on the spot right now, I'm just going to make up some stuff in my head. So let's say that somebody is in this class and they wish to do the topic hire purchase. All right, it's a very familiar topic. Hire purchase is the topic. So let's say somebody wanted to do hire purchase. The first thing that I would expect the student to do is to give me a definition of what hire purchase is. So usually we tell students that when you're starting your introduction, you can start your introduction with the definition of a term or terms, or you can attack the introduction from the perspective of using history. Maybe you can give me a little brief insight into what the topic is about, where the topic is stemming from. So you can use definitions, you can give me a brief history, you can use examples as a form of compiling or creating the body of the SBA. So let's say that I'm doing the topic of hire purchase, then I would kickstart my SBA by saying that, okay, hire purchase, and this is an example, ladies and gentlemen. I would start by using Google to define what is hire purchase. Hire purchase is a means of acquiring goods or services by making a certain percentage of down payment followed by monthly installments of a certain amount over a duration or a period of time. Then once you've given definition, then the examiner, the reader, which is me, the person who is reading your SBA, would say, oh, okay, then that's what hire purchase is about. So then from there, to really give my SBA, so because I can't just give the introduction with a definition. I want to head into the part where I start telling them, why would people take out things on hire purchase? So hire purchase is a means of acquiring goods and service whenever it is that the total cash or the total amount, the customer does not have the total amount. Right? So you have many different types of people who take out hire purchase. You have many different reasons why people take out hire purchase. It's not because they don't have the full cash. Sometimes they have the full cash, but they just decide they want to take it out and pay down on it little. So I would start by giving a definition. Usually that's how I encourage you to start. And then you can perhaps state your own personal idea of what you think about hire purchase. So you can say that, oh, hire purchase is a good thing because, or hire purchase is a bad thing because, or hire purchase is dependent upon the customer's financial status. You see, once you're able to put together something that is about, I'm going to guesstimate, maybe about 4 to 7 lines, not even 7, 7 is a lot, that's a lot of writing. But I'm thinking 4 to 7 lines is going to be enough for you guys to say, okay, that's a nice little description. We don't want a paragraph. We don't want an epistle. We don't want you to tell us where hire purchase come from, who invented it, why it named. We don't need to know all of that. We just need to know what is hire purchase and what is your personal opinion on what hire purchase is about. Are we following that so far?
Yes, sir.
Every topic is different. So some topics that you may have to dive into a little bit of history. Let's look at an example like the topic typing versus writing. It's a very cliche topic. It's a topic that is overused. I don't think CSEC likes when people use it, but you know, them can't really stop no guys, because if that you want to do, and that you want to do, right? So typing versus writing, or maybe you're comparing the speed of typing versus the speed of writing. I would therefore dive into explaining to persons what exactly is writing and where it come from. Just a brief little history, no more than 1, 2, or 3 lines. So I would say that writing, in my opinion, I think writing is a more archaic and old-fashioned method of communication where you use an instrument such as a pen or a pencil and you write on paper, where you can communicate with persons near and far. All right? Or you can simply Google what is writing and reword it in your own way. Then from defining what is writing, you then dive into defining what is typing. So typing is a more modern form of communication where electronic devices such as a computer or a tablet or a phone is used to send text messages or emails or memorandums or communication within businesses or communication between families and friends near and far, right? Once you've given the reader, the examiner, an idea of what writing is and what typing is, then they can look at why is writing necessary? What is it that we do these days that writing is mandatory? We know we cannot write an application letter using hand anymore. That's not acceptable. There was a time when computer wasn't like a big thing. I'm not sure if you guys are old enough to really like be at that stage. We remember that, oh, I had to write my pen pal, but I had to write with my hand and send it in the post office. I'm not sure if you guys are old enough. I'm not old, but I'm thinking that you guys are old enough to know that. Nowadays, we don't do that anymore. We write an instant email. So everybody has an email address. So you say that writing used to be a form of communication where letters used to be written to families and friends overseas, just something like that, something of that nature. And then you look at typing now is what we basically use to write application letters, write resumes. Somebody's mic is unmuted, guys.
So somebody talking to you.
Oh, somebody wants to come into the class. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, so then writing would be, typing would be a form of communication where such as emails, text messages, well, emails through the computer or the tablet, text messages through the phone is used to communicate with individuals that are near or far or something like that, if you get the idea, okay? All right, one more topic I'm just picking out of random. Let's say we're talking about simple interest compared to compound interest. That's a very interesting topic. All right. Then, of course, again, you'd start off by explaining to the reader what is simple interest and what formula you know, what formula you're familiar with that is used mathematically to calculate interest. You can talk about what businesses are. What is it that simple interest is applied to? What is simple interest? Is it a case where you get interest or you can be charged interest? Then you look at what is compound interest. And then you look at examples of where compound interest is applied. So all of these things you have to just kind of formulate and get your information and create a nice little 4 to 7 line body of information, right? And then that should complete your brief description of your topic. Now, if somebody is talking about something sporty, something like a sporting event, maybe you're looking at a topic where what's the what's the name of the topic again? I think it said something about running a 50-meter curve versus running a 50-meter straight. You just give me a brief little description about track and field, you know? What are the different events in track and field? Or what are the different track events that exist? You have 400 meter, you have 200 meter, you have 100 meter. You know, just give me something. So I can't really say, I have to send you like samples in the group, which I will do. And then you kind of just, you know, put together one nice body of information. When I send you the sample, ladies and gentlemen, when I send you the sample, then you can look at the sample and this is illegal. And I'm recording the class and say this is illegal. It's not really illegal, but it's something that is unethical. Plagiarism. So plagiarism is where you copy somebody's work and make it your own. I think that's the wrong word, really. It's not plagiarize, but I think the concept is looking at an example of somebody's work and then kind of mimicking how the person structured their work and mimic it with relationship to your topic. So I'm going to send you a couple samples of introductions that were written by past students in the group, and then you use that as a guide. As it relates to how you guys are going to submit it for me to mark, right? I would prefer if it was physical, but then again, if you guys want to email it, what you guys can do is that you can take a picture of the introduction when you have constructed it, and then I'll try to give you a review as soon as I possibly can, based on what I think needs to be added or removed. Is it clear, everybody?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, that's the best that I could do for you. Now, in terms of, so once we have created a body, once you've created something like a body, then with the introduction now, you can't forget to leave out what is your objectives. Nobody does a research paper without having an idea of what exactly, or what is the exact reason why you're doing the project. Why are you doing this project? Right. So let's go back to the example of me introducing myself to you. When I told you that my name was Akin and I attended NCU. I'm 31 years of age. I have a bachelor's degree in mathematics. My objective of teaching you is to what? 1, attend all my classes. 2, I'm supposed to attend all my classes. 2, be at class on time. And 3, to help you to pass your exam. That's why I'm in the class. So an objective, just using that illustration, guys, the objective of me being here is to help you to pass the exam. So what is your objective of doing that topic? What are you trying to find out? You can't just be looking at simple interest and compound interest and a broad retrospect. You have to specifically look at 1, what are the disadvantages and advantages of being charged simple interest or being given simple interest, compared to what are the advantages and disadvantages of being charged compound interest versus simple interest. Let's skip to the topic of hire purchase. I'm using the easy topics. Another example of an objective of hire purchase is, what are the advantages of taking out an item on hire purchase? What are the disadvantages of taking out an item on hire purchase? Right? So advantage, or you could say benefits. Disadvantages are the downside to taking out things on hire purchase. So you can come up with various specific targets. It's like, these are the things that I am focusing on. I'm not looking at a broad concept of hire purchase. I'm not doing a whole epistle or a whole novel on hire purchase. I just want to target these specific objectives. All right. Look at typing versus writing. Once again, it's a very cliche topic. Say then for typing versus writing, right? Maybe you want to look at how fast does an individual between the ages of 16 and 20, how fast does an individual between the age of 16 and 20 type and write a 200-word essay compared to an individual that is in the age range of 20 to 25? That could be a perfect objective. You're comparing two different age groups. Or it doesn't have to be age group. It can be a case where maybe you just have 10 friends and you want to test how fast they can type compared to how fast they can write. And you give them a certain amount of words. You can either time them to write the amount of words, or you can allow them to write the amount of words in the time frame that they are able to do it within a possible time frame. All right. So it just really, the introduction, it sounds like a lot because I'm talking a lot, but it's a 4 to 5 line explaining what the topic is about. And then 2, you list a minimum of 1 objective. And I don't think I needed to have more than 3 objectives. The more objectives you have is the bigger your SBA is going to be. It's the more data you're going to have to get. So keep your objectives to the point and straightforward. If you're looking at advantages and disadvantages, keep it at that. Don't try to go in too deep. Okay? Is it clear, ladies and gentlemen?
Sir, excuse me. Is the introduction and the objective should be on the same page?
Yes, the objective is under the introduction.
Okay, thanks.
If you look at the screen here, so right, this is an example from the CSEC, right? They don't have any objective. Well, they do. The objective is they want to look at the number of goals scored in a traditional hoop compared to the number of goals scored if the hoop is square. That's one objective. 2, if the hoop is rectangular, that's the second objective. 3, if the hoop is hexagonal, meaning that it has, well, hex means 6. If it has 6 sides, hexagonal, yeah, I think hexagonal means 6 sides. Right. So those are 3 objectives, but then put it in a straight line. All right. That's why I say I don't really like this particular SBA. It was just really something that CSEC come up with when they just introduced the whole concept of SBA. And look at what they did here. Them draw an example of what the hoop is going to look like. So the regular hoop is circular. So they're looking at what if the hoop was square? What if the hoop was rectangular? What if the hoop had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides? And if you notice right below, they took the area of the hoop. So they measured the area of a regular basketball hoop. And then they created a hoop that is square, a hoop that is rectangular, and a hoop that is hexagonal with relatively the same area as well. And that's how they're going to construct the SBA. So this is a nice little guide, in my opinion, if you'd like to do something like this. Okay? But we don't want to talk too much about it. If you guys can compile something, I just need to see what you guys come up with. So put together something, send it to me through WhatsApp or through email. Let me know when you've sent it, right? And then I'll give you any auto correction that you might need. I'm going to give you guys a whole entire week to put that together and send it to me so you guys can get a review. All right? I'll be sure to give you a prompt response. Okay? Is it clear, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
All right. If you still need a little bit more, like maybe you want me to rewrite. Well, okay, obviously the class is being recorded. So I'm going to chop out this section of the video and I'm going to post it separately. And I'm going to post it separately where you guys can rewatch all of this that I just said in that little 15-20 minute section there. Okay. All right. So next week, then, provided that I get a response from everybody or most persons, I would love to push to the method of data collection. So please, people, step on the gas. Okay. Step on the gas and try to get it out of the way. It's not hard. Just give it 20 minutes out of your free time, put together something, and use the samples that I'm going to send to you in the group as a guide. I feel like you guys are going to do okay. Is it fine? Everybody's okay now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
All right. All right.